And today I would like to remind you that in the context of the power of using appropriate words in our life, Sita ji lived to see the consequence of her choice of words, especially based on the decision that she had made. She used cutting words to Lakshmana. She insulted him and she insisted that he left. And the consequence of those words happened almost automatically. For when Ravana had abducted her, while he was taking her as victim to Lanka, she was crying out. She was crying out, "O Ram, what error have I made?" And more than that, she said, "O Lakshmana, what wrong words, what wrong advice I gave to you, O Lakshmana. Look at my situation now." And remember the conversation when she was about to commit suicide, in her conversation with Trijita. "O Trijita, please build that pyre so that I can commit suicide." Why? Because based on my own thoughts, my words and my actions, Trijita, I feel that my Ram has given up on me. There is no hope. You see, it was almost a degenerative process that Sita ji was experiencing. She started by using very negative words to Lakshmana. And what happened thereafter was a gradual slide in her emotional intelligence that took her to the point of almost committing suicide. So devotees, friends, I want you to contemplate on the choice of words that we use in our lives. Contemplate on the type of words that we share in conversations with other people. But more importantly, think of the words, pay attention to the words that we have in conversing with ourselves. In concluding my very brief message here this morning, I'd like to remind you that the person who loses money loses much. The person who loses a friend loses more. But that person who loses faith, not only faith in God, but faith in your own self, loses all. That person who loses money loses much. That person who loses a friend loses more. But that person who loses faith in himself or her own self, that person loses everything. The greatest danger is not that which dies when the body is dead. The greatest loss, it is that which dies inside of us while we're still alive. And that death that I'm speaking about, it is a death of our own faith and faith in our own self. Once we continue to have faith despite the negative things that happen to us, despite the wrong things or the disappointments that happen to us, we should not try in our future attempts at life. When we give up our attempts, when we give up our effort to keep on keeping on, we will be trying. But when we continue in the midst of disappointment, our efforts will always bring the results that you want. It may not be in the timing that we want, but keep on keeping on. Keep faith and keep faith, and you will understand that with the continuous effort, persistence, whatever you speak, whatever instructions you give to yourself, to this universe, the universe will respond in kind. I conclude with a very, very lovely story that I would have shared when I just started giving this type of examples. But I would like to conclude in sharing it again. Once there was a group of frogs. And these frogs, some of them were at the top of the bank. And there were many others who were swimming in the river. But this river had a very steep bank. And there came a point when some of the frogs who were swimming got into difficulty. And the frogs on the top were shouting at them, "Don't bother, try to swim down with the current. Don't try to get out here because you will drown. Don't even attempt. You just keep swimming down and see what happens later on." But all the frogs who were caught in trouble in the river, in the water, started scrambling and trying to get out exactly at that location where the bank was steep. And as they continued to try and try and try, eventually all but one drowned. All but one died. And there was this one frog that continued attempting and attempting, giving all his efforts at climbing out to refuge on the safe banks. And eventually that frog got to a safe haven. And when the frog got out there, the other frogs started saying to him, "What is wrong with you? Did you not hear us? We were saying, don't even bother trying to get out. Don't even try to get out. There is no hope for you." And the frog, he said to them, he said, "I can read your lips now because I am close to you. But you know what the truth is? I am deaf. I couldn't hear a word that you were saying. But in looking up from the distance in the water and I'm seeing you shouting down at me like this, I thought you were saying, 'Come on, come on, come on.' I didn't think you were saying, 'Don't bother, give up and die.'" The frog is saying, "I am deaf. So in my reading what you were trying to say to me, I saw it as encouragement. So I didn't try to come out, I just did it. I came out to save refuge." This very simple story tells us there is power of life and death in the words that we choose in communicating to other people. If the frog had heard like the others did, don't worry, don't waste your time, he would have done like the others and drowned and died. In the power of our tongue, we have the ability to give life to other people, especially when we're dealing with our friends and family members or those close acquaintances. When someone is down and out, one negative word may be all that it can take to destroy that person. But in the flip side, one positive word of encouragement may all that is required to help that person come out of that dark abyss that they would have created for themselves. So today I ask you to take a few moments when you're in your quiet moments and re-examine some of the word patterns, the conversations that you have in your life, and make a deliberate and conscious attempt to change the negative expressions and especially delete from your vocabulary the word try. Stop trying to do the things you want for yourself in your life and just start doing it.